Kindle books on Amazon are getting banned and accounts are being terminated left and right, all for good reason, because there are some bad actors out there that are starting to poison the well, and thankfully there's been some folks that are starting to report these issues. Are you not sure what I'm talking about? Well, today I'm going to talk about the Kindle books on Amazon being banned for poor quality and plagiarism. Are you part of that lot? We'll find out in today's video. Hey, I'm Dale L. Roberts, a best-selling author as well as a self-publishing advocate who wants to show you how to publish books that sell. And if you want that too, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell notification icon, and switch it to all so that way you don't miss a single one of these videos. So kind of as I teased as we're going into this video, I said that Amazon is going through and removing books left and right, and it's for very good reason. Now, before we start to jump into things, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and that is, of course, this recent viral outbreak that's going throughout the world. And I'm not going to say the name just for the fact that YouTube doesn't quite like that. And also, it's going to take away from the fact that some of these bad actors and what they're doing. So I'm just going to simply point up here and you'll kind of understand what I'm referring to. And these people that are capitalizing on this particular state of the world. I also want to thank viewers for sending me direct messages and emails and showing me some of these articles. I originally wasn't going to say anything about this, but after probably about 6 or 7 people nudging me to this, I said, okay, I probably ought to go ahead and at least touch on this so that way everybody is aware and you're not accidentally getting terminated for violating some of their terms of services for Amazon KDP, because that's essentially what is coming down to. It's because some people see an opportunity and they try to capitalize it, but they aren't aware that there are some policies that are put in place that forbids you from publishing content like this. So between Slate, Wired, NBC News, and more, there are a lot of news sources that have been rolling out over the past week to 2 weeks addressing this issue, in that Amazon actually has a lot of these books and products that are rolling out in response to the recent viral outbreak. And one of the most shocking things is actually there are some Amazon resellers that are going from one store to the next, clearing out shelves. And they're doing this purposely. What they're doing is they're taking all of the supplies that you would normally need, such as hand sanitizer and toilet paper and many other goods that you need in a time like this, and they're clearing it out, and then they're sending it over to Amazon, and then they're just price gouging. They're just knocking it up considerably more, and you're forced to actually have to pay this bigger amount rather than just go to your local store and buy it because someone didn't just go over and was stingy and, being greedy about the situation. In fact, there was actually a New York Times post that actually covered someone who specifically did this, went to like over a half dozen to a dozen stores and did pallets full of these type of items. I'm going to put links to each one of these articles down inside the description down below if you want to go ahead and take a look at those. But I want to address the books that are being pulled from the shelf, and some of them that are starting to get some recognition on these various news sites. And it's so embarrassing because, I pride myself on being a self-published author, being an indie author, and I always try to equip you and the others with as much information as possible to become successful at this, but also maintain some form of integrity and some type of ethics about your business, and that you're not trying to abuse the system in order to make a quick buck. Sadly, there are some that are starting to do that, and they're profiting hand and fist, but for how long, we don't really know. So there's 5 ways that they're abusing the system. And let's start it out with number 1, under false or misleading names. So they're publishing these books underneath being a doctor. And so they're putting out them and they're pretending underneath a ghost written name that they're this when they probably aren't that at all. So what's happening is people are looking for some type of solace right now, some type of solution, sometimes a cure of some sort, who are they going to go to first? Possibly a doctor. But in some instances, they're going over to Amazon and purchasing up some of these books that are masquerading about as being doctors when in fact they are not. Now, you might say, hey, Dale, how do you know that they're fake doctors? Well, if you just go over to their Amazon profile, you can see instantly that there's just no way possible that these are actually doctors that are putting out this type of work. 2, plagiarized content. Yeah, believe it or not, the plagiarists are at it again. This time, they're stealing directly from news sources online and articles online. And they're essentially putting it up here, which has me baffled because I thought Amazon KDP had this on lockdown. I thought they were keeping a better eye on what's going on online that's freely available. But apparently some things have been slipping through the cracks, whether they're spending some of the content, they're getting it to where it's going through with no issue, not really sure. But either way, the plagiarized content is making it in there. Thankfully, some of them are starting to get pulled. And I know one of the news sources actually had cited the actual article that was taken from. 3, poorly written content. Well, this is a surprise. Bad actors putting out poorly written content? Who would have thought? Well, it gets pretty bad, and I'll share one of the bits here in a little bit. Number 4, bogus claims on cures. Yeah, people are actually putting out books saying that they have the cure for it. And you know that there are some people that are naive to this. They think that, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and get this book and it's going to give me the cure. That is a big no-no when it comes to Amazon. You cannot say you're going to provide a cure through any type of publication unless there actually is a cure. If you were to go into Amazon's content guidelines, you would actually see quite a few of these items broken down into why they won't accept it. But if you scroll down even further and click on a link that actually goes into offensive and controversial materials, you'll scroll down and you'll notice that it says products related to human tragedies and natural disasters. So this is what they prohibit. So you might be able to get your work through and get it processed, but chances are very likely in a time like this, they aren't liking that too much. So at the very least, they may block your book. At the very most, they may end up shutting down your KDP account. So be warned that this is actually inside their guidelines, so you may not want to violate that. Number 5, improper categorization. Oh yeah, we got some category squatters here. We got some folks out there that are publishing books and they're putting them into these random categories so they get better placement and discoverability. Shame on you. So what is the issue? I've told you these 5 things. I mean, what's the big hang up here? Well, it definitely appears that Amazon's paying attention because they're starting to take some of these books down that some of these news sources are showing. In fact, actually, if you were to do a search query for the given name of this virus and pull it on up, you actually will see they have a little disclaimer that sends them over to the CDC, I believe, and gives more details about that. And that comes up right at the top, and you're not given products right away, thankfully. But again, as I'd mentioned, we're finding that there are some poorly written products that are out there. And I'm not shaming anybody that's putting out books based on this and maybe some of the information you've learned, and especially if it's original content. It's the ones that are just rushing it out into the market to try to make a quick buck. It was actually the Wired article that did a quote of one of the books, and they actually said this. One sentence reads in a section supposedly describing the disease as, "You bookmark wholesome recipes, select up kale and quinoa at the grocery, and purchase a pressure cooker." Well, what? Oh no. So what can we do about all this? I mean, is there anything we can do? Because I know that there's quite a few of us throughout the world that are quarantined into our houses. Is there really anything that we can do? I hate saying this. Nobody likes a snitch, but sometimes you're gonna have to report it if you see it. So if you see some poor quality content, then it might be on your best interest to actually say something to Amazon. They may not be fully aware. It's such a large beast that they're producing and publishing and uploading thousands upon thousands every minute of every day. So some stuff is going to slip through the cracks. We got to give them just a little bit of leniency. So what we need to do is work together and report some of these issues. Also, I would say continue this conversation with loved ones and friends, whether in person or online, through video or through social media, that you build awareness of these bad actors so that they know, okay, I probably shouldn't be going and buying a book from a doctor I've never heard of because it probably isn't legit. And if you're publishing content surrounding this, use common sense. Common sense would dictate that you don't just try to stir people up into a frenzy just to make yourself a quick buck. What you're going to want to do is, put together something that is meaningful. Take your time, hire a good editor so it's not poorly written, put out into the market that way, because rest assured, Amazon's going to go ahead and kick you on out. And also, just to kind of talk about feeding into the frenzy, the World Health Organization said, don't feed into infodemic. That's essentially just talking more about the pandemic and just putting more fuel onto the fire. What you just need to be doing is following some of their instructions about social isolation and getting it to where you're staying healthy for the meantime until we get the all clear. So self-publishers and authors all out throughout the world, please take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones. If you want a little bit more information about how to avoid getting your account terminated or suspended, I actually have an entire video about that and addressing some of the ways that you can avoid it. You're going to take a look at this very next video down below. I will see you there.